Thank you for checking out this short. I hope you enjoy. Please subscribe and hit that notification bell. Peace.
The issue that we have in our community is the lack of the policing in our own communities. Carl and I grew up in a neighborhood called Holmesburg. And in Holmesburg, if you was around the corner doing something, a neighbor would have already called my grandmother and grandfather to identify that I've already done something. We don't have that type of communication in our community anymore. If a young person's kid is doing something and you call them, the first thing the parent might say is, that wasn't my child. Don't be calling on my child. So we are missing a community of policing each other the way it was when we were kids. And I think if we was to ever get back to that, we might be able to curb this violence.
Excellent point, because when I grew up without a father. I never met my father. My father was practicing social distancing, 50 years actually. But so while he was practicing social distancing, there were other gentlemen in our neighborhood who stepped up and took on that role as a father, as a male figure. So I was able to grow up with the luxury of having multiple men in my life who helped guide and direct me to who I am today. Right. Because there's so many people from South Harrisburg that are caught up in the light, just like in Philly.
When we talk about solutions, I guess, us as brothers, listen, I'm in California, right? I try to do what I can do from an education perspective and trying to help people from resume writing, interviewing, right? And trying to help individuals from that perspective. But what can we each individually do to really try to help someone out?
Every one of my sons are taught to call everybody that's older than them Mr. I still call people older than me Mr. because that's just the way I was brought up.
That's right.
And it starts at home. You know what I mean? It's something as basic as that. It starts at home. It absolutely starts at home. And we have to integrate that in our kids. And I do that with everyone I respect. Like I can say I'm my son's best friend, but I would never be his best friend. Because I will always be his father. And I've never crossed that line where I will compromise who I am as a father. And I see so many people doing that. They compromise who they are with their kids, then the kids don't respect them. You can't smoke weed with your kid and then expect them to respect you.
We need more big mamas.
I agree.
We need to have the people in our families to stop. I mean, this is going to sound, well, I'm just going to say it. I don't really care how it sounds, but the young people got to stop making babies.
Yeah.
The parents are getting younger and younger,
and
they don't have the skill set. So if you're a 30-year-old mom with a 15-year-old son, you don't have the skill set to try to turn that young man. Not in every case, but
in a good majority of cases, though.
Correct.
I think it also comes down to, you touched on it a little bit, it's the family structure, it's the dynamic. The majority of us, were raised by strong single Black women, right? I had the luxury of my father, even though he was in another house and separated, he was a mentor to me. He was my dad, right? So he always used to tell me, listen, trouble's waiting out there on the corner. Trouble's so easy to get into, but it's hard to get out of. And the problem with that is, I had somebody telling me that. There's no one telling these people, these young people on the corner. So it comes down to mentors, male mentors. It comes down to that father, whatever you want to call it, that uncle or whatever you want to call it, putting positive things in their ear.
So as soon as they started saying that you can discipline your child, as far as I'm concerned, things started changing.
Absolutely.
The government wanted to step in, and because my mom would whoop my ass.
Oh, yes.
Seriously.
Oh, we had the number on the refrigerator. I used to tell the kids, if y'all, exactly.
My neighbor smacked the shit out of me when I got caught for stealing something as a little kid. I'm keeping it real. I came home in the back of a paddy wagon, bro, trying to hang out with the kids, and I'm 10, 12 years old, just following a group of kids. But had my neighbor smacked the crap out of me because I came out in a paddy wagon on that day. Little kid, 12 years old, riding our bikes. And then my mom came home and proceeded to whoop my ass. Tied me to the bed. Rest her soul. God bless her. Look, thank God she did.
Everybody's making some valid points, and there was this, you got to say, like maybe a bridge that happened and fell between a certain point of when we were growing up and where we are now, because just like you know, Eric, you just said, you know, your neighbor would smack the shit out you, or mom would beat your ass, or, you know, because I had that on both ends, you know. So, but now we're in this age of where, you know, if you did go to the authorities say, "Oh, you're not supposed to do that with your kids." But now our kids are out of control. So you're telling me not to touch my kids, but at some point in time, you're going to handle my kids because you're the authority, you're the police, you're the law enforcement. Now, had I beat my kid's ass, maybe you would not have seen them.
I didn't spare the rod. I don't spare the rod. The words say don't spare the rod. I didn't spare the rod. And I was ready to go to the judge, and the judge going to ask me a question. Well, why'd you beat him? Because I'd rather you judge me for whooping his behind than my son looking at a 3 to 5 year sentence because I didn't do my job.